Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And when carriers make improvements across the board, it's best for all consumers. If there's a certain promotion that fits your budget, that fits your needs, you want to take advantage of it, and the carriers are competing on the network end, it's a better result across the board for everybody. So yesterday, RootMetrics released their reports, and RootMetrics reports are a mixture of scientific testing and crowdsourced based. So they use a mixture of both. So RootMetrics tests 125 markets with their scientific testing, and then, like I said, there's a mixture of crowdsourced data that goes in there as well. So as you see by the title, RootMetrics, Verizon stays strong, but AT&T and T-Mobile makes gains. So this is big. Verizon has been dominating RootMetrics in a big way since about 2012, 2013, and beyond. I mean, they've had such a massive lead on that platform. It's insane. It's been such a big lead that some may have alluded to Verizon paying RootMetrics to place them in the number one spot. But whether that's true or not, we'll never know. We would never know. They would never disclose that. And to make such claims publicly from other carriers, you'd have to have some proof to back that up. So if Verizon wanted to take legal action, I'm sure they could. So Verizon staying strong was to be expected. I think most expected this, that follow RootMetrics, that track the industry. Most were expecting Verizon to be number one, which is kind of interesting because their DSS network has not been the best. They've had some issues. They needed to send out some software updates, and they still maintained their lead. So that kind of tells you that Verizon's network is really good. If they have issues and they tweak stuff and they still are able to score number one on a scientific testing report, that shows you that, hey man, Verizon may have a very, very solid network. And RootMetrics, they test the network as is. They have 5G devices now. They don't go in to the service mode. They don't change anything. They test the networks as is. So keep that in mind. So AT&T made the most significant gains, getting them closer to Verizon on a national level, also on a urban suburban level. Just summarizing the report, and I'll leave this article in the description down below so you guys could check it out. I checked the report. AT&T won two big awards that they've never won before. One was data and the other one was speed. They surpassed Verizon on both of those categories, the first time ever since RootMetrics was founded, I believe. And that's a big thing. So the speed difference wasn't so significant. I believe it was T-Mobile at 30, Verizon 34, and AT&T at 40. I think AT&T is going to continue improving that. In the second half of this year, I think they'll make even more gains and get closer to Verizon. AT&T is very focused right now, just to add this in. They are insanely focused. Some of the plans, the internal plans that I've seen, I mean, oh my God. They are insane right now. So the shift from them going to being a huge company that has their hands in a little bit of everything and now refocusing that towards just strictly wireless is going to be felt, and it's going to be noticed. I'm just letting you guys know. You may not see the full effects in the second half of this year, but going into next year, Verizon and AT&T and RootMetrics are going to battle it out. They're going to battle it out 100%. And now that C-band is in play and more funding is being made available, they're going to battle it out. Now, the surprise in this case was T-Mobile. And just to kind of backtrack, a few years ago, RootMetrics, each half that they tested on a yearly basis, there was always a statement made that T-Mobile is getting better at the urban suburban levels, or they were already good in certain markets, But at the national level, they've always struggled on root metrics. And that was just a fact. They didn't have nationwide band 12. That was one. And that was, that's backtracking to 2013, 14, 2015. They didn't have band 12 nationwide. Some counties, they had no low band to operate with. So they had nothing but mid band to go off of. And, even before band 12 was around, they had no low band at all. So it was very, very tough for them to compete on the national scale. It would have, on the mid band, relying on just mid band, it would have took them too many cell sites to bring a more broader footprint at scale on a national level. So then they got band 12, but that was only 5 megahertz, but it allowed them to push coverage out a little further. And then in 14, 15, and 2016, we saw them grow their coverage using that low band footprint. Then now we're seeing that multi-year investment of that band 71 pay off. They got band 71 on every inch of the United States. Every county, they have band 71. They paid $8 billion for it. So now, coupled with the mid-band deployment that's ongoing as well, they're starting, and of course, this also includes new cell sites. So, as I mentioned, root metrics uses the devices as intended. So if there's Sprint roaming that they can attach to on that device and the device connects to it, then root metrics will also connect to it. So root metrics is reporting that T-Mobile is making gains at the national level, which is a big deal. That's why they wanted the Sprint merger, is to gain scale for them to compete at the national level. They wanted to finally compete in rural areas. For government agencies, that meant military bases. So they needed to explode on scale. They had no choice. So we're already a year and some months in now into this merger, and nationally, they're already gaining upwards of 50% on speed gains. I know there are still some tweaks on calling that need to be made from T-Mobile, and reliability is lacking, but they're making gains. They're making improvements. So the second half of this year, we should see even more improvements from T-Mobile, and then furthermore into next year, it should just be a no-brainer that T-Mobile keeps improving nationally. I mean, 13,000 keep sites from Sprint, 10,000 brand new cell sites for brand new coverage. They'll keep improving on a national scale, especially as they get busy in rural America. So root metrics is getting a bit more competitive, which is good to see. It's not as lopsided as it used to be. It used to be Verizon number one, and then everybody else was just a distant second, third, and fourth, and Sprint was even further distant in that regard when they were being tested. I mean, they had hardly any national scale to begin with. So now that we are down to 3 carriers, the race is heating up. Verizon is likely going to pull a bit ahead as they fix DSS, as that gets addressed. They incorporate C-band now. So that's going to help their network tremendously, and I think that'll also reflect on root metrics next year. So T-Mobile, in going into next year, they'll still have the lead on POPs covered with mid-band. They'll just extend it towards the end of this year. They'll be at 200 as they claim, and then next year they'll get to 250, and then furthermore into the 23, they'll get to the 300 million covered with mid-band. So they'll deploy, they'll continue getting better, and I think that will reflect on root metrics, and we'll see who comes out ahead, who gains the most in the second half of this year, and we'll see if Verizon is able to pull ahead even further, or maybe AT&T gains even more on Verizon. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading your comments. I know this is a very interesting topic. A lot of you are torn with root metrics, but it's getting closer. So again, they aren't necessarily favoring Verizon in this case. They're letting you know that AT&T and T-Mobile are making gains. And in this case, T-Mobile is actually making significant gains, up to 50% on speed gains on a national level. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, share, subscribe, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.